Hey everybody, Tim here, and I've got a new kind of video for you. I'm not sure what to call this series yet, so look for it in the title. I don't want to say it now because I may change my mind before I post the video. But anyway, what this series is about is really just talking about some insightful things, some more experiential things that I get a lot of questions about often. So this isn't like a standard lesson, this is just more kind of giving you some advice based on some of the questions I've gotten, some of the articles that I've written on the internet. So the first topic that we're talking about today is what kind of keyboard should you buy? So this is electronic keyboards. This is a question I get very often, all the time. So let's talk about it. So I'm going to be reading off my tablet, so if I'm looking down part of the time, don't mind me. I've just already written an article on this, and I feel like it's a pretty good one with some pretty good advice. So I'd figure if it ain't broke, why fix it? So the first thing, let's just get right into it. The first thing you want to talk about is, actually, let me talk about this first paragraph. So as a music instructor, like I said, I get this question all the time. What kind of keyboard should you buy? Well, that really depends on a lot of factors. It's like, what kind of car should you buy? Well, you want to tell somebody to buy a Lamborghini, but they may not be able to afford it, or it may just be not what they want. I don't even really care about, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I don't even really care about having a Lamborghini or not. I just want a good car that gets me somewhere. But that's just the kind of person I am. And once again, it just depends on personal preferences. Some people would love a Lamborghini or two. Or a Mercedes, or whether you should get a Honda or a truck or whatever. It depends on what your tastes are, and it depends on what your needs are. So the same thing applies to what kind of keyboard you should buy. So the first thing you really need to consider is the size of the keyboard. What kind of space restrictions do you have? What kind of monetary restrictions do you have? The bigger the keyboard, in general, the more it's going to cost. There's some different variables there, which we'll talk about. The first thing you want is, optimally, you want an 88 key keyboard. That is the full-size keyboard that a lot of pianos have. And you want to shoot as close to that as possible. Now, you want at least, obviously 88 keys usually cost more than one lesser than that, but you want at least 60 keys and above. Anything shorter than that, you will run into restrictions pretty quick in your learning, and you won't have enough octaves and notes to work with. So you want at least 60 keys. I think it's like 63 is a standard one, and then 76, and then 88, I think. So you want at least higher than 60, I recommend. 88 obviously is optimal since it's very close to a real piano. To be honest with you, as a professional piano player, you don't use the top and bottom octave all that often, even if you've really studied piano. You will use them, especially as you get into more complicated music, but not a ton. Like if you're just looking to learn about music and play some songs, you really don't need those top octaves as much. But you really want 88 keys if you can. But like I said, if you're just learning, anything higher than 60 will be fine. All right. What else do we have? All right. Another thing you want to consider is whether or not the keys are weighted. Weighted keys are better, non-weighted aren't. So what are weighted keys? Well, weighted keys are keys that have weights in them. And the purpose of that is to replicate as much as you can the real feel of a piano. So if at all possible, before purchasing a piano, if you could play on it, kind of get a feeling of how it feels, that would be the best thing to do. But obviously, a lot of us aren't in the situation where we can go to a piano store. So we need to order online. If you're ordering online, please look at a lot of reviews. You can go on Amazon and look at all the reviews. Look at more than one review. You want to look at 10. You want to read a bunch of them to kind of get a perspective on how the keyboard really is. Some people just complain about everything. So if you read the one negative review, you may miss out on a good keyboard. Or you could read a really good review on a keyboard you don't like. So you want to read a bunch of them to kind of get an idea on what the keyboard's actually like. Weighted keys are better. It gives a feel more like a real piano, like I said. Obviously, weighted keys are a little more expensive. And there's different feels to weighted keys. Like some weighted keys are better than others. It usually depends on what tier of piano you want. Do you want a low end, a medium end, high end? High ends feel obviously a lot closer to a real piano. And if you play on real acoustic pianos, you will notice that there's even a difference between the feel of each one depending on how the, I want to say how the settings are. That's more of a electronic term. But how the piano is adjusted. So you can have two Steinway pianos, which are probably the best pianos you can get, or pretty close to it. And you can have different feels between the two of them. You can really have one feel really light, and you can have one feel really heavy. So if you have weighted keys on an electronic keyboard, you're probably okay. You probably don't need to be super picky about it because there's differences in real pianos anyway. So let's take a look. Okay, talked about weighted keys. Another thing you want to talk about is accessories. You want to consider what kind of accessories come with your keyboard. Does it come with a foot pedal? You want a foot pedal. You want what's called a sustain pedal. There's probably different plugs on the back of your keyboard that say sustain, like quiet or something, or soft pedal rather. So sustain, soft, and then probably a sostenuto pedal or something like that. You want a sustain pedal, or you want to plug your pedal that you do have into the sustain port, and you want to make sure it comes with at least one pedal to do that. Another thing you want to consider is, does it come with a music stand? So if you don't have a music stand, you'll need one. So a lot of keyboards come with them. A lot of high-end keyboards do not, actually. A lot of mid-range, low-end come with them, like as a kind of a plastic piece that fits in on the piano. So you want to consider if you have that. If you don't have the money for that and your keyboard doesn't come with it, you can probably rig something up on a table. Again, not the best, but it's alright. You can also buy like wire, not really wire, but like I wish I could show you. I can't really move the camera right now. But a very like a portable stand that's just made out of a few metal pieces. Those are pretty cheap. What is it? You also want a bench. You don't have to have a bench. You can sit in a chair, but an optimal case would be to have a bench. Just the way you sit on a bench, you're sitting up straight. You can move back and forth a lot better on a bench than you can a chair. Now, when I teach the YouTube lessons, you may notice, or may not, that I'm sitting in a chair like I am right now, this chair. That's just because I'm moving. I'm kind of pivoting back and forth when I do the YouTube videos. So that's a little different. But when you're playing on a keyboard, you want a bench. If you can't afford a bench, a chair will suffice. Alright, this is a big one. Does the keyboard come with built-in speakers? It depends on what your budget. Again, usually low-end and mid-range keyboards come with speakers, and high-ends do not. In most cases, if you can get external speakers and the right hookups for them, that's the best scenario. Built-in speakers are okay. They'll do the job, especially if you're learning and you need to conserve space. Built-in speakers are probably the way to go. But when you're purchasing a keyboard, you want to ask yourself, does this come, and do the research, does this come with built-in speakers? Because if it doesn't, you're going to need external ones, and you're going to need the right hookups for those. So let me explain real quick. Let me put this down. The different kind of hookups. There's two main ones. There's, they might have different ones, but these are two of the standard ones. Let me show you the first one. This is an quarter. I always call them 1/8 quarter-inch connector. Very standard. They come with most. Oh, another thing you can do. Sorry, I got sidetracked because this is actually coming off of my headphones. You can also use headphones if they come with an 1/8 inch. Quarter-inch. Jeez. As long as they come with a quarter-inch connector, and your keyboard has a quarter-inch connector. Remember that they have to match. Your keyboard has to have quarter-inch, and your cable has to be quarter-inch, and whatever speakers you have to be quarter-inch. So they all have to match. That's very, 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 very important. Lost me there for a second. Very, very, very important to make sure that the cables match. Another common one. These are a little bit better in my opinion overall, is the XLR connector. If you see in here, there's 3 prongs, and those on the other end there's 3 holes. Again, you want to make sure that the speakers you're using use XLR, and you want to make sure that the keyboard you're using uses XLR. They have to match. Have to. If they don't match, you'll need a converter or something, and it won't sound quite as good. Let's take a look here what else we want to look for in a keyboard. I think we're almost there, actually. Oh, the last thing is, how much do you want to spend on the keyboard? This is probably the biggest factor for a lot of people. If you don't have a budget and you have loads of money, buy a really good keyboard. I mean, it's good advice, but honestly, if you're just looking to tinker around the keyboard, learn a couple of things, and you don't want to take the risk, buy a mid-level keyboard, just in case it doesn't work out for you. But if you keep trying, it will work out. I'm pretty confident that a lot of people can learn piano if they really stick with it. It depends on what your goals are. If your goals are real high and lofty, you want to really train hard and you want to practice hard every day, and buy a really good keyboard. But if you're in a budget, let me tell you some of your options. Casio. Casio's usually lower end keyboard. I think they do make 88 key keyboards with built-in speakers, and they make smaller ones, obviously. They might make weighted key ones. I haven't done a whole lot of research on that because I don't have a Casio myself. But Casio is probably the lower end. If you want to spend real low money, like $100 or less, go for a Casio. You can also go to Radio Shack if you have one of those in your country or where you live, or Best Buy or whatever, and buy a pretty cheap one. I don't recommend that, but if that's all you got, then go for that. That'll be fine. Casio is probably better suited for little kids, like a cheap one. Little kids do not tend to take good care of things. It depends on how your kids are and how your family is. Everybody's a little bit different, of course. But I would buy them to start out, something a little bit cheaper. It's like when you buy a kid a guitar, like a little kid, especially since they're growing. You don't buy them the best guitar. Some people do that, but I don't recommend that. Let's take a look here. A mid-range keyboard is like Yamaha. Yamaha makes a lot of mid-range keyboards that are pretty decent. They come with weighted keys. They're full size, full 88 keys. Well, they make smaller ones too, and they make them with decent built-in speakers. They're not bad. I recommend this one for most people, especially starting out. Get a Yamaha or something like it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Again, you want to make sure it comes with the correct accessories and things like that. High-end keyboards like Roland or Kurzweil. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I am German. I should be able to pronounce that if that is a German word. So those are high-end keyboards. If you're looking to spend a lot more money, go for those for sure. They have really nice weighted 88 keys. They usually come with they don't come with external speakers, but usually you'll need external speakers. I've seen Kurzweils come with built-in speakers that are pretty decent. Some Yamaha or some Rolands might, but I'm not sure. Mine does not. Mine's a professional stage piano, and you can plug those in. Mine has a 1/4 inch, I got that right, and XLRs, so I can plug those into a lot of different things. You can also plug your keyboard, I think I forgot to mention, into a guitar amplifier, so long as it has 1/4 inch inputs from outputs from your keyboard, 1/4 inch inputs through your guitar amplifier. Now, a guitar amplifier isn't the best. It's not going to give you the exact sound you want. But like I said, if you're on a budget or you're looking, if you have an amp already lying around, you just plug it into that, and that'll give you plenty of sound to work with. All right, and that does it. So to recap, you want to consider the size of the keyboard, the weight of the keys. You want weighted keys, if possible. How the sound is produced, meaning like is it built-in speakers or is it external? You want to make sure you have the right connections for that, and you want to consider budget. Probably the biggest constraint or the biggest thing to consider out of this whole thing, which will kind of go into all the other factors as well on what you can afford. Do you want super optimal setup? Do you want something in the middle just to learn with, or you want, you're really on a budget but you still want to learn, and you can get the low-end stuff, and that should suffice. So anyway, that wraps it up. If you want to read this article, you can go to lessonsontheweb.com, click on the My Blog or Lessons on the Web blog or something. It says blog up there. It might just say blog. up at the top of the screen on my website, and that will go to the official official Lessons on the Web blog, and from there you can scroll down, find tips on buying an electronic keyboard, and follow that link to where I know it's a lot of links, but you follow that link to where the article is, and that way you'll be able to find it the best. You'll also be able to find, I post on my blog every article I write, depending on, sometimes they're in different places, but they're all aggregated there, all collected there, so you can find them all there. So anyway, if you have any comments or questions about some other videos you'd like to see or other keyboard buying tips, let me know in the comments below, and I'll consider them for future videos. More videos like this to come. I have a couple of ideas. I think the next one's going to be on practicing tips, which may be really helpful for some of you. So again, I hope you enjoyed this new kind of video. There will be more of these. There will be more of the regular lessons. I'm thinking about some different other kind of things too. So if you have any recommendations in general, leave them below. Remember to like, subscribe, comment if you want. Of course, got to say that because it really helps me out. It really does. I know it's a cheesy thing to say, but it is true. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed as always, and I'll see you for the next video. So thanks. Hey there, did you like the video? Did you learn something? Well, click that subscribe button below to get regular updates of videos and announcements from my YouTube channel. Also, remember to click that like button if you liked the video. Also, you can follow me on social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and more. I'll leave the links to those in the description below. Also, spread the love and share these videos with your friends. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you for the next lesson. Thank you.